Hello.
Good morning, John. This is Sean at Progressive Ears.
Yeah, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you all doing today?
Yeah, we're doing good, thank you. Yeah,
That's
we're doing good, thank you, Sean.
excellent. Excellent. What time is it there now?
It's 11:30.
11:30.
Yeah,
Okay. Excellent. All right. So you're here in the States, or are you in?
yeah. Sorry, yeah, I'm in the States.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Cool.
in,
I wasn't sure. I
I'm in
thought.
Florida.
Okay. I was thinking maybe it was overseas and it was about dinner time. So okay. Good. So, well, good
Yeah,
morning to you then. That's excellent. Well, thanks for taking the time to chat with us today. How much time do we have? I probably have about 30 minutes worth of things to
yeah.
discuss.
If you can make it sort of 25, because the next one's at 12 o'clock. It just gives me a
Okay.
5 minute break.
All right. We're like planes lined up on the runway.
Okay, brilliant, wonderful.
That sounds great. Well, I checked out your wonderful new single in these crazy times, and I thought maybe we'd talk about that first and discuss how the idea came to you. Well, I've got a pretty good idea, but how it all transpired and who played on it with you.
Yeah, I had a tour which I did the beginning of the year, and I was on a cruise with Doug Felder and Jason Schiff, from the Eagles and from Chicago, and then after that I did a tour and I finished March the 9th. And I came down here to Florida where my son lives with our grandson and his wife. And my wife was down here waiting, and we thought we'd have a couple of weeks holiday. And that was March the 9th. And then March the 12th, we were in lockdown, and the whole world changed. And suddenly I'm, locked out just with my wife and I in a condominium, in an apartment. And I thought, what on earth am I going to do? Everything was getting cancelled. I had so many concerts to do this year with my band. We were celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Isle of Wight as well. So I was really looking forward to that, as well as getting back on the road in America. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to just keep playing, which I did. I had my guitar here, my bass and piano, and so I just started playing. And I thought, well, I might as well take this time to try and be creative. And so I reflected, really. It was a bit similar to when we made Days of Future Past. We were in the studio in lockdown for 24 hours a day. And I thought, well, we created something good then. And I thought, wonder if I'm in lockdown now, this is going to be a creative time as well. And for me, it's been turned out to be a really good creative time. And I sat down one day with my guitar and I started strumming. And basically, I wrote the song, the lyric and the basic lyric and the melody came sort of straight away. And then I've written this song called "In These Crazy Times." And I thought, well, how am I going to record it? And I gave it some thought, and I recorded it here in my own, I've got my Mac computer and garage band and some Yamaha powered speakers and a keyboard, Oxygen M keyboard, and I built myself a nice little sound booth in a cupboard, and I set about to record in these crazy times, and I recorded it, and I thought, well, I really need some backing vocals on it, and I thought, who could do this? And we're in lockdown, I can't bring anyone in, and my wife has got a really good voice for singing, but she doesn't do this, and she knows probably more lyrics to songs than I do, and I said, come on, I really need you now. You've got to come and sing the the harmonies on this song. And I taught her the harmonies, and she went basically into my little sound booth in the cupboard, and a couple of takes, and it was done. And I'd got the vocal on, and then I thought, well, I need a guitar. And my son plays guitar as a hobby. He doesn't want to play professionally. his love is marketing, but he plays guitar, and I said, okay, you're going to be recording this for me on my song. So I sent him the files, and he put the guitar on, and he just blew me away. What he played on the guitar was just fantastic. And then I've been touring last year with Yes on the Royal Affair tour, and John Davison from Yes, the singer, has been joining me on my tour, coming on stage and singing a couple of songs with me. We've been having a great time. So I asked John if he'd do the other backing vocals, and he said yes. So I sent him the files, and he sent them back to me. And then I gave them to my front of house engineer, a guy called Ray Nesbitt, who's got a studio at his house. And then he mixed it and sent it to me, and we made a few changes, mixed it again, and then we got the song, In These Crazy Times.
Well, I think it's really wonderful. I had a chance to hear it yesterday, and I think the fans are going to love it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think it really, of course, it really speaks to this moment. And I've found, I've interviewed a lot of different musicians over the past few months, because this is kind of a radio show that I started doing online when COVID started, because I'm a musician like you, and my opportunity to play became impossible, basically. And I thought, well, if I can't be playing music, then I could at least be talking about it. So this has been going quite well, and it's a real pleasure to talk to people. I've discovered across the board that as musicians, we're really lucky to be able to go create art at a time like this. It's almost like I think a lot of people have an album brewing this year simply because of the time they have to create. So, it's a bad thing.
You're absolutely right, and I'm really pleased for all musicians to be able to do that, because for me it's been a time of refining myself, to be honest, because you get so wrapped in what you're doing every day musically. It's really great to go refine yourself and go, oh, just a minute, there are other things I really like in music as well, and so I've spent a lot of time as well creating. I got 3 other sort of projects going on at the same time now, and all really exciting, and it's all involving musicians. And I think that's you just mentioned that. I think it's really good that the musicians are in contact with each other and exploring things again together.
I agree, and I think out of this bad thing, I think a lot of good will come, musically for sure. So I was curious, do you think this might lead to a new solo album for you?
Well, it may do. The problem is I don't know how. I love putting an album together, especially the vinyl, when you've got the nice cover sleeve and all the lyrics and everything else, But it'd be great if there's another way of really getting the album out to the public, because not everyone wants to go on Amazon or wherever, or CBC, There's so many avenues that are not there now, and I don't know. It's getting the plays, I found a new radio station which I'm quite enjoying at the moment called United DJs, and it's a radio station across the world, and it's with disc jockeys, real old-fashioned disc jockeys playing music and talking about the music, and it's been great for me because I've been hearing things like the new Bob Dylan album, the new Neil Young record, and I don't know where else you turn nowadays to listen to everything. I don't really know.
I agree, and I do miss the kind of interaction you got from a DJ. It seems like all these computerized playlists just spit the songs out without any introduction, and it kind of takes away a whole dimension. It's like you kind of learned a lot from the DJs. So I'm glad to see that's still an option.
It certainly did, and for me, it was a really integral part of the success of, and I'm going to use the word loosely, rock and roll in America and the UK and around the world really, but particularly in America, because the DJs made it, FM radio and DJs, they just made it, because they were convinced when they heard a song they liked, they played it and they told you why. And as you just mentioned, it's a personal thing a DJ has with music, and you get to know what music a particular DJ likes and wants to play. And so in the old days, you'd follow a DJ, find one you like, and you know the songs he's going to play. They're all going to be ones you want to listen to.
Absolutely. Well, I was wondering if we could go back a little bit. I have a few random questions that fans sent in about various parts of your career. On my show, we always kind of go back and talk about early musical memories. And I was wondering, what's some of your favorite music that you heard as a young lad before you could even go buy a record? Like maybe something your siblings played or your parents around the house?
Rock and roll sort of hit me in one go. It was like a slap in the face, bang. And it all came together exactly at the same time. When I was at school, in the lunch break, when I was like 13, in the lunch break, I used to go to a cafe up there, and they had a rock-ola jukebox in there. And it just played, all the great rock and roll records of that time, Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, Fats Domino, Gene Vincent, Eddie Cochran, non-stop. And I used to spend my lunch times putting a coin in the slot and pressing a button, and that was into my lunch money. But at least I got to hear a record. And that was my really earliest memory of the excitement, I think, of rock and roll. But from a point of view of something that really, I'm a total Buddy Holly fan. When I heard That'll Be the Day for the first time, I just could not believe that record. I thought it was the most amazing rock and roll record that one could ever hear. And I bought every Buddy Holly record I could get. And I've still got a lot of them, to be honest, on my Wurlitzer jukebox. But I did manage to see Buddy Holly live in Birmingham.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
That was one of the highlights, really, of my musical career, to know I was there seeing Buddy Holly on stage. It was really an incredible, special moment for me.
Well, that's just the best. And it's wonderful when young musicians get a chance to see the people that inspire them the most firsthand, and you never forget those moments, I don't think.
I mean, there's one guy with a Fender Stratocaster guitar, an amplifier, a guy on a double bass, and a drummer. And to me, it was just magic, and it taught me so much about everything, presentation. It taught me about songs. It taught me about songwriting, everything for me.
Absolutely.
Buddy Holly did.
All right, did you see any other concerts around that time that stick with you now?
Yeah, I actually saw everyone, to be honest. Gene Vincent. Gene Vincent was amazing. I was actually asked, when I was very young, Gene Vincent came to England to live because he was a huge star in England and Europe. And I was actually asked if I would like to join the English Blue Caps and be part of Gene Vincent's band.
Oh, wow.
And I actually wrote a song for him. And unfortunately, it didn't get recorded, but it was released last year on a Gene Vincent tribute album. Can you believe? I can't believe someone else recorded it, but it was a tribute album.
And what was the song called?
The song was called "Stay Away From Me."
All right. Well, we'll try to look that one up.
Yeah, it's on a tribute to Gene Vincent, his last album. It's interesting, really interesting. But I saw everyone: Little Richard, Jerry Lee. Well, I didn't see Jerry Lee Lewis because his tour was cancelled. But over the years, I've performed with Jerry Lee Lewis, got on stage with him before, so that's been pretty good. And it's just been amazing. I just saw Bill Haley and the Comets, but I think that was on a return. It wasn't the original one. I was too young, but on a return to England once they came along, and I managed to see Bill Haley and the Comets.
That was one of my favorite records as a child. It's like you kind of start with your parents' record collection before you have your own. And I remember I just Love that. That was
Yeah.
such an amazing guitar solo too. It was really ahead of its time, I think.
It was a great guitar
Oh
solo.
man.
And it's really funny because you mentioned something that happened that you thought, what on earth is going on? My sister's 4 years older than me. And I remember, so I was probably, I don't know how old I was, 10 or whatever. She said to me she was going out with a boyfriend, as teenagers did. And she said to me, "See you later, alligator." I had no idea. I thought she'd gone mad.
Oh, that's well, yeah. It definitely became a staple for many people later.
It did.
Yeah,
It really did. Everything, in Happy Days,
yeah,
the Fonz and all that. I mean, See You Alligator.
yeah.
That was
It brought it all
what it was
back
all
around.
about, really.
Um, so I got another question for you. When you started playing bass, what was it like just on an average time? I guess my question is kind of about gear somewhat. I know you're a Fender man at heart, and I think that's wonderful because I think the Fender bass is really the bass that, started it all, and it's still the best sound as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I was wondering, do you remember like when they created? I'm wondering, do you use flat brown strings exclusively, or did you get into the roto sound thing once those came out? And what was it like when you first tried those?
My original bass guitar I bought in 1960, which I've still got, and I normally record with that bass, still record with it. Nearly every Moody Blues song has been recorded with that bass. And I use flat wound strings on that for recording. I just like the sound of flat wound on a record. It seems to appeal to me, the melodic, harmonic sound of the string, as a bass string. But on stage, I use round wound. Really, they just work better on stage because you need the attack more on stage than you do on a record. That's my opinion.
Okay.
And so on stage, I actually use a Fender custom shop made me a 63 jazz bass copy 20 years ago. I got it a long time ago now. And because the electronics are superb on it, and the action, and it's got extra 4 frets on it as well as a long neck. And that's what I use on stage. And but I use GHS strings round wound on stage, but I still use flat wound for recording.
And is it just exclusively jazz bass you use, or do you occasionally use the P bass?
No, I only use just the jazz bass on the road.
Okay.
I've got actually I carry 2 with me on the road just in case one goes wrong, of course. But the one I just favour by far more than the other one. It's a strange thing.
Yeah.
You get accustomed to one.
Yeah.
How a guitar or a bass feels, and
Sure.
somehow you strap it on and it seems to want to play itself. It's great.
Yeah. And I think the jazz is a little more flexible. You can blend the pickups, and the neck's a little slicker.
It is. It works, and to be honest, it's faster as well.
Yeah.
Than the P
I
bass.
can see that.
But the P bass is just something special. My original Fender bass is just something absolute. I could still smell the guitar the day I bought it. Can you believe it?
I can believe it, yes, and I'm sure. I mean, that's a wonderful memory. Hey, here I have another question. One of my fans wrote in, and they mentioned that there was a double neck Rickenbacker that Chris Squire wanted really badly that you have. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, it's actually in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now.
Oh.
I'll put it there into our museum there, Moody Blues, whatever it's called. Yeah, Rickenbacker. It's really fantastic double neck with a bass and 6-string, and it really worked. I played that for about 5-6 years, and until Fender realised what I was playing, and they got in touch with me, and they built a Telecaster double neck for me, which then I used for the next 20 years.
Did you ever find the double neck kind of cumbersome to play because it's kind of neck heavy?
it was really. It was too heavy, but it was great for me because in the Moodies, particularly in the Moody Blues, we were just a one guitar, one bass band. The rest is keyboards and flute, of course, and drums. But so to be able to play 6-string guitar and then hit a switch and play the bass as well, it really, for me, it really added to the sound of the Moody Blues on stage, and I was pleased with that. But the Rickenbackers are beautiful, beautiful double deck.
Oh,
and anyone go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you can see it there.
Okay, and what color was it, just in case we go looking for it? Black?
Blonde.
Okay.
Yeah, blonde.
All right.
It's blonde.
Blonde, okay. All right, well, we have about 5 more minutes, so I guess I should ask a few quick questions. So we have the obligatory, will the Moodies ever record any more music question. Any ideas?
No, I have no idea. It's really easy to trace the history of why, to be honest. We've always had in the Moody Blues record company people who really love the Moody Blues, and there's always at least one person in the record company that was just total, wanted the Moody Blues to do things, and they were really music men. And it goes back to the original head of Decca Records, Sir Edward Lewis. He was a total music man. He set up Decca Records in the USA, and he was a music man, and he just loved the Moodies, whatever we were doing, and he backed us up all the way. And then after that, we had David Broad come along, who was Bob Dylan's manager as well, but he was running the record company. He was a total music man, and he backed us up all the way. And through the years, we had people, real music people. But about, 10 years ago, that seemed to disappear. And the record companies became, for me, only interested in the people who were like number 1 or number 2 on Spotify. And I couldn't get music people. I couldn't find music people who are real music people, to be honest, who are in the record industry. They probably are there.
Yeah, well, that's a shame. But
and so when you're recording music, we recorded. I think the last album was a Christmas album, called December, and you hope the record company, some of the record company who's into music, into Moody Blues, is going to be excited, But when that excitement's not there, it's not worth doing it.
I can understand that.
Because when you write a song and record a song, you are standing there naked, basically, and you're recording something that someone's not heard before, and you hope people enjoy it and they want to be part of it. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
And as you know, as a musician, getting on stage is when an audience becomes part of the music.
Absolutely, and that's just the moment to live for, pretty much.
Yeah.
Question, where's the best place to get the new single, In These Crazy Times?
CBC, whatever they're called, and then obviously on Amazon.
Okay.
And Spotify.
All right. Well, folks, check that out.
CB Baby, I think it's called,
Yes.
and
Okay.
Amazon, and as I say, Spotify.
Okay. We got like 2 minutes left. I was wondering, do you ever remember a time when a Mellotron malfunctioned right in the middle of a live performance? Any funny, any quick
Fillmore
2-minute
East.
stories? Fillmore East.
Fillmore East in New York. We played 2 songs, and suddenly we heard the Mellotron go. There's a strange sound, and the Mellotron is loops of tape,
Right.
and the loops of tape were coming out of the Mellotron at the back like spaghetti.
Well, that's a pretty
And
good
it so we played second fiddle to Roadrunner cartoons. In those days at the Fillmore East, they used to put cartoons on during the concert, and also you had Joe's Lights, all the magic lights that we used to do with candle wax and everything else. So we were on there, and it was our first foray. It was our first real concert in New York, and it all went wrong. But we carried on. We did the concert with the Mellotron and everything else, and our fans gave us the benefit of the doubt, I think, and stuck with us, So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for taking the time to chat with us today. I'd love to have a more in-depth chat sometime when you have more time, but this is a wonderful way to get things rolling and let everybody know about the new song. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sean, and just keep in touch, and nice interview. Thank you very much indeed.
My pleasure. The pleasure was all mine.
And good luck to you as a musician as well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much, John. All right, we'll give my best to everyone, and take care, and we'll be enjoying the new song.
Thank you very much. Stay safe.
My pleasure. You too.